All right. Good morning, everyone. My name is Ruth Yoon, and I'm a member of the Kids Before Towers Coalition. I'm an education policy analyst, as well as a parent of children attending Parsons Elementary and Hull Middle School. I'm here today with coalition members to bring attention to a contract that the Gwinnett County School Board has voted to approve. This contract leases land between Parsons Elementary and Peachtree Ridge High School to Municipal Communications to build a 150-foot cell tower. This would remain on the property for up to 60 years. By chance, a parent at Hull Middle School found that this vote took place on December 18, 2025, without any notice to the GCPS families in the Peachtree Ridge High School attendance zone. As a result, a coalition of parents and community members that you see today were mobilized to demand GCPS to rescind approval of this contract. Over 500 signatures have been gathered on the petition, and meetings were requested with the interim COO, with Municipal Communications, and with board members. At this point, you may be asking yourself, what is the problem with a cell tower? Don't we need it? The answer is yes, of course we need cell towers. But no, we don't need a tower in close proximity to children attending school nearby for anywhere from 4 to 11 years. You will hear speakers today oppose this tower on the following basis: unknown health risks, lack of data to support claims made by GCPS and Municipal Communications, lack of transparency and the failure to build trust between community and the district, financial harm to property values in the attendance zone, outlandish contract terms, which I'll say a little more about in a minute, and misuse of land meant for educational purposes. So I personally will speak to the point about the contract terms, which gives the tenant, Municipal Communications, the right to renew the lease for 60 years. And what's strange about this lease is that it does not allow the landlord to decline to renew or to terminate the existing contract. I don't know if you've ever heard of renting an apartment and being a tenant with that much power, but I don't think that Municipal Communications should have that kind of power over our district and our families and students. So in summary, we demand that GCPS rescind their approval of the contract, and we demand that GCPS not allow the building of any cell tower on any of the school properties. We are here in the interest of protecting not only our children, but all children attending public schools. Today, you will hear directly from community members, starting with Michelle King.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Michelle King, the returning candidate for Georgia State House District 99. While I was canvassing, I've heard from the parents who are very concerned about the proposed construction of a cell phone tower at Peachtree Ridge High School. As a mother of 3 daughters who went to public schools, I'm also very deeply concerned. So I have supported these organizers and sending out the emails, asking for petition, and post about this on our social media. I was talking about the transparency at this point from all public servants. So families across our community are raising important questions about transparency, safety, and whether this decision truly reflects the best interest of our students. I believe these concerns deserve to be heard, respected, and fully addressed before any action is taken. Parents, students, and community members have come together to oppose this proposal and are asking for greater transparency in the decision-making process. Their message is simple: our children's well-being must come first. I encourage you to stand with the organizers and please take a moment to sign the petition to help ensure our voices are heard. And if this proposal moved forward without proper scrutiny, it could set a precedent for other school clusters across Gwinnett County. Together, we can demand accountability, transparency, and decisions that put our families first. So please do share the petition with your friends, neighbors, and fellow parents When our community comes together, we have the power to create the change. And thank you for standing engaged and standing up for our students. Thank you, Michelle Kang. And I would like to introduce Jessica Badarella. Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Jessica Valderrama. As a parent at Parsons Elementary School and a member of this community, I want to be clear. I am not opposed to progress, technology, or even cell towers in general. I understand the role connectivity plays in our daily lives. But as technology advances, so does our responsibility to use it wisely and harmlessly. Placing a cell tower on public school property is a decision that demands careful scrutiny. It should be backed by clear, independent research showing the necessity of that location, its safety, and its appropriateness at an educational setting. We must consider the daily presence of students who are still growing and developing, and the staff who support them. It also requires thorough legal contract review that clearly prioritizes the interests and long-term benefits of the schools over those private companies. If those standards cannot be met, then the answer should be no. Not just to this proposal, but to any similar agreements in the future. A more cautious, best practices approach is not just reasonable, it is necessary. I am also concerned that the cell tower proposal may be motivated more by the desire to reduce regulatory hurdles and increase profit than by what's best for our schools, with financial incentives potentially used to sway approval. While proper funding for our public schools is critical, it should never come at the expense of careful discernment or community trust. In that regard, I do appreciate the board's decision to pause and hear from the community. That matters. However, moving forward, I urge the board to commit to a clear standard. No cell towers on public school property and no contracts with developers whose proposals do not fully prioritize student well-being and community trust. Decisions like this carry long-term consequences. We owe it to our children, our educators, and our community to lead with transparency, accountability, and sound judgment. Thank you. Keith Benefield.
Thank you very much. Good morning to everyone. My name is Keith Benefield. I am a parent of a child at Parsons Elementary. I'm opposed to the cell phone towers. Sorry. A little closer. Okay. I'm opposed to the cell phone tower placement on school property of any school in Gwinnett County and also in the state. There are unknown risks. The research doesn't show that one side is harmless or it's safe. And when you don't know, you side on safety for the children. You do not place children in environments that could be potentially hazardous. Okay, these children are from pre-K all the way up until high school. But for my child specifically at Parsons, that is 7 years of her life that she will be exposed to a radiation tower in close proximity for 7 hours a day for 7 years. That's a long time. We don't know what the long-term effects are going to be. Other countries outside the United States, they've already enacted bans that prohibit cell phone placement or cell phone tower placement on school property and protect, or they do not put vulnerable populations in close proximity to cell phone towers because it's just outright banned. We should do the same thing here. Here in Georgia, DeKalb County already has a ban for cell phone placement towers that we don't put them on the property. We should do the same here in Gwinnett County. I'm opposed. I mean, I can say it many different ways. When you know better, you do better. We have to be responsible. The prior speaker was talking about it. Technology, none of us are opposed to the technology. We are opposed to the placement on the school property. That's a no-go for us. And it should be common sense. That's the way we should move forward. Municipal Communications, back in December, they had they tentatively got the school board to approve the tower, but they didn't have to go through what's called due diligence. Okay, Gwinnett County Board of Commissioners requires due diligence. It's a process where they have to prove their case. They didn't have to do anything except get people to say, all in favor say aye. Okay, we found out about it. We're very discouraged by what we learned. There needs to be an ordinance passed. No cell phone towers on school property. Everybody has to go through due diligence. I mean, they're trying to skirt the due diligence. They're targeting school property because they don't have to prove their case. They just have to say, hey, we want to put it here and we can do it. I'm going to conclude my remarks. I'm against the cell phone tower placement on the school property. Thank you. Veranga.
Thank you. Hello, my name is Viranga Vijayaratne. I oppose the building of cell phone towers on school property. I'm here today as a concerned parent, but also as an electrical and RF engineer to offer my professional analysis of the proposed municipal communication cell tower. I want to be explicitly clear that I'm not speaking as a representative of my employer. I will highlight 3 critical areas where this proposal fails. Point number 1, transparency failure. Municipal communication claims Peachy Ridge and Parsons is the only viable site, but hides the data behind a proprietary label. I can assure you this is a fallacy. Simulated effectiveness of cell phone towers is a standard industry output, not proprietary. They are refusing to show comparative data for alternative sites. This school is likely preferred due to cheap access and existing connectivity, prioritizing profit over proper planning. Point number 2, technical flaws. The interim CEO, Mr. Patrick Berg, claims that the cell tower is necessary for emergency communication purposes. The provider has not shown simulated coverage predictions that prove coverage inside the school buildings. Without modeling for signal loss due to concrete and steel, there is no proof this tower significantly improves indoor coverage as they claim. If the goal is better communication system for the staff inside the schools, Gwinnett County schools already have a robust Wi-Fi network. Enabling Wi-Fi calling, for example, provides an immediate emergency communication layer without placing an outdoor radiation source directly on campus. Point number 3, pediatric vulnerability. We must address the biological reality. Children are not mature adults. And that's the diagram right there. As the diagram shows, because of the thinner skulls and higher tissue water content, children absorb RF energy significantly deeper into the brain. The FCC standards established in 1996 and based on a 220-pound adult male model do not accurately represent impacts of children. FCC standards only measure thermal heating. They do not account for chronic non-thermal exposure our students will face every day. Furthermore, major insurers routinely classify electromagnetic fields as high risk. Every time a cell tower regularly adds more capacity, like T-Mobile, Verizon, whatever it may be, the cumulative power density increases. Who will be monitoring this for the schools for 60 years of this contract? No one. No one. As an engineering professional, I urge you to reject this cell phone site at Parsons Elementary and Peachy Ridge High School, and further, ban cell phone towers in any other Gwinnett County school. Let's put our children's safety first. Thank you. The next is Representative Matt Reed. Thank you.
great job with the science. RF is radio frequency, correct? And then EMF is electromagnetic fields. I would call on the media, get on Google Earth. This claim that there's no other place to put the cell tower, that doesn't meet basic due diligence or sanity. There are plenty of places to put the cell tower on commercial or industrial property on Satellite Boulevard near Interstate 85 and outside of the residential area. I am proud to join with my neighbors here in this area. I've lived here 23 years and I care about this community just like these neighbors who have articulately given the case not to have a cell tower here. And there are three main reasons I'd like to talk about. Number one is eminent domain. Number two is public hearings. And then number three is residential quality of life. Let me talk about eminent domain. There was a family who owned this beautiful piece of land from here to Old Peachtree Road about 25 years ago. The Gwinnett County Schools took the front of the property where Parsons and Peachtree Ridge are under threat of eminent domain from that family first. And then a few years later, Gwinnett County came to the family and took the property that we're on here at Peachtree Ridge Park under threat of eminent domain. By that time, I was at UGA Law School. I got to actually work on that case with the family, and I learned about the fact that that was not voluntary. It was done under threat of eminent domain. And here in America's 250th anniversary, looking back on the basics of America, the Bill of Rights, eminent domain and checks and balances on eminent domain, that's part of the basics of American law and government. If you take something for public purposes, you need to adhere to that specific public purpose, and you need to pay the owner fairly. This property, Parsons and Peachtree Ridge, was taken for public school purposes alone. It was not taken to put cell towers on it. Secondly, that family who had the property taken away from them by eminent domain, they got paid based on residential value because that's what the neighborhood was. And they weren't paid for cell phone tower value. So it's wrong for the school to misuse the power of eminent domain by stacking a cell tower onto a school property. And you heard the case earlier about the negative impacts that would have on our students, our teachers, and on residents. Number two, I want to talk about public hearings. If the cell tower company went to one of those many commercial or industrial properties on Satellite Boulevard or the Interstate 85 corridor right next door, they would have to go through the public process at the Gwinnett County Justice and Administration Center with the County Commission. I'm about to go back there to go to court. And the school needs to know that cell tower companies are going to target the schools to attempt to bypass that public hearing. They need to be on guard, and they need to say, no thanks. We're going to stand for our students, our teachers, our residents. Number three, residential quality of life. Before I was State Representative Matt Reeves, I was baseball coach Matt Reeves. My son, who's now in college, he played baseball here at Peachtree Ridge Park. My daughter played volleyball at Suwanee Sports Academy down the road, and I would take a walk here on these beautiful trails and tracks. And this is a residential area, and it is not right to put cell towers in a residential area with a dozen or more neighborhoods immediately adjacent and many other residents nearby. So I would ask the school board to listen to the people, be a good neighbor, say no to this cell tower. Thank you. And I've got a statement that I've given to our school board members who overlap with me. I'll give it to the media and the residents, and I want to thank the residents for signing the petition. Let your voice be heard.
Good morning. Thank you to all that is present today. My name is King Lee, and I'm a concerned parent at Parsons Elementary and Peachtree Ridge High School. GCPS consistently states that the safety and well-being of the students and staff is their top priority. Yet, this decision was made without conducting the due diligence necessary to verify the claims presented by the vendor, Municipal Communications. The vendor asserted that the towers are completely safe for children, but not provide any independent, peer-reviewed evidence to support this claim. Major health organizations, including the American Cancer Society, have publicly noted that research on radio frequency exposure is ongoing and not conclusive. If the science is settled, Why do these organizations continue to call for further studies rather than declaring the technology is 100% safe? Municipal communications also claimed that the towers would resolve poor cell coverage inside the schools, yet provided no data to support this assertion, and GCPS did not even ask or request for that data on their claim. Meanwhile, the proposed cell tower is within the fall zone that extends to the Parsons Elementary School lower playground. We believe it is reasonable to ask why GCPS is not concerned about the possibility of a 150 feet structure falling on the children while they are playing. Equally troubling is the lack of communication with families. Parents in this community were not notified that this proposal was even under consideration. The explanation given that GCPS forgot is unacceptable. GCPS also stated that there was no opposition when they built a tower at Archer High School in 2024. But there was no opposition because GCPS has admitted in our town hall that the parents at Archer cluster was not notified. We are parents and community members who care deeply about our schools. The combination of a proposed cell tower on school property and the absence of transparent communication is alarming. Our concern is the potential health implications, and many listed by Ruth earlier, on the playground so close to our kids and our staff is unacceptable. While studies vary and reports conflicting, the reality is we simply are not comfortable as parents to have radio frequency exposure on any of our campuses. I urge GCPS to really prioritize our children and our staff. You say it, so please do what you say. If our kids and our staff is a priority, please do it, and do not allow any cell towers at any GCPS school, not just at Parsons. Parents do not want to come back and fight this 2 years later at another school. There are plenty of clusters that want not to have this cell tower or any cell tower on our campuses. Thank you.
All right, that concludes our statements. I want to reiterate, in case you didn't hear, we are opposing cell towers not only on Parsons Elementary and Peachtree Ridge High School property, but on any school property in Gwinnett County, and we hope in the state, because all children matter and not just the ones in our community here. This concludes our statements, and we will take some questions from the press before we wrap.
What are you guys hearing about what will happen on Thursday night when they take this up?
All right, so the question was, what have we heard will happen on Thursday night at the board meeting? We have received indication that the board will be discussing this item on their agenda. It should be on the agenda already. You can check online. And there is discussion about rescinding that vote. So we appreciate that indication, but until things are written down in black and white, we don't have any guarantees. And we want GCPS to be aware that we're not fighting just for Parsons and Peachtree Ridge, but for all schools in the county.
Ruth, I can point out the two school board members who overlap with this district. I contacted them. They are hearing from residents. Definitely residents, if you want to speak on Thursday night at the school board meeting, sign up on Wednesday by their deadline. However, you don't have to wait until then. You can make your voice heard to your school board members and school administration ahead of time. Let them hear from you. The 500 people on the petition, definitely spend another 5 or 10 minutes and contact the school board members ahead of that meeting on Thursday.
All right, any other questions? Our contact information is also available on the media kit that we will hand you. So you're welcome to reach out afterwards if you have any follow-up questions or any concerns. Mr. John, do you have any questions? No? Okay. Thank you so much for being here today. Have a great day.